We are doing it live. Believe Nation, ask us your questions below. Ask us your questions below. Let's do it. Let's do this. Happy Friday. Friday special bonus episode of the Something to Prove podcast. Taking your questions, bringing some value, I hope. Let's see where my constant co-host is. I don't see him in the chat yet, actually. Where's Mark? Dreiger, where are you? Okay, we're working on Dreiger. While we wait for Mark, use the question mark box tool to ask us questions, and we're going to answer them. We're going to get to as many good ones as we can. So start popping your questions down there below. There he is. Let's bring in the Mark. Let's bring in the Mark. Here we go. Here he comes. Let's go. Oh, good. Where are you?
I'm at work.
Oh, all right.
I came into the office for the first time in a really long time.
Oh, now we can see the background. It's just all washed out. Yeah, there you go. Wow, that's the difference. There we go.
There you go. Is that better?
Yeah. Oh, it was still good. We're used to all the orange. Your office is so white. Oh, there you go.
A little wood in the background.
Why aren't you in your office?
Because typically when we do these live streams on the Wi-Fi, for whatever reason, you complain.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I'm right near the router.
Yeah. Okay,
for
perfect.
Wi-Fi's.
Good. All right, Mark, kick us off. Tell them what we're doing.
Welcome to the Something to Prove podcast. Evan and I host a podcast twice a week. One episode every week is a nice, deep conversation where we talk about growing businesses and challenges we all face, and usually Evan's actually just beating me up. And the second one, this bonus one, we answer your question. So if you have a question for Evan, drop it in the little question box.
And Mark, the question for Evan.
I'll take a shot at it. But we all know why we're here. We're here to learn at the knees, or whatever you say, the feet of Evan.
Wow. Mark's in a special mood today. This is what happens to go. He's so much nicer when he's at the office, isn't he, guys? Anyway, okay. You use the question mark tool. Don't put it in the chat. Use the question box. Okay, let's go. Prass saying some book recommendations.
Ooh. I guess it would depend on. All I can tell you is what I'm working through and have enjoyed. Obviously, Principles. I mean, I don't know if it's obvious, but Principles by Ray Dalio, I've really, really liked. Marie Forleo's Everything is Figure Outable has been.
I don't have that one.
There's Principles by Ray Dalio. Yeah. What else? It Takes What It Takes is fantastic. Those are the top three that come to mind, only because I've been working through them. But while I was here at the office, I literally just grabbed like 8 more books that I want to start working.
I mean, come on, Dreiger. Let's go. If we're talking books, what are we talking about, fam?
I'm going to be honest with you, Evan. I've never read that version of it. I've only read your manuscript. So was your manuscript more or less the same as what was published?
Almost. We cut a little bit.
Okay.
Cut a little bit. And like chapter highlights and stuff. I mean, your one word, I cut half the book, right? But this one, we cut just a little bit. And on the...
We still have the manuscript from your one word, and the binder is like this.
Oh yeah. That's limited edition, man. And we made it breathable, right? Like, so there's pages so it's easy to read. But yeah, you've anyway. Built to Serve is the book recommendation. Mark is in the book, fam.
Yes,
he's in both books.
I am.
He's got this great story about having something to prove. Anyway, read Built to Serve. Get a signed copy. Is this one signed? You know what? I was trying to make a video of me signing the book because I needed that for an ad we were doing, and we talked about it for doing it on the landing page.
You want to talk about how Evan does his manuscripts and stuff? Look at this manuscript. Top 10 rules to success.
That's how many people did I give that to? Not a lot.
I don't know, but this is really interesting though. The reason that we mentioned the manuscripts, I don't know if anyone ever do other people do this, Evan, where you write your book. And then you print a manuscript and hand it out to a select group of people and ask them to note what they love and what they hate. And then you go in and actually you do a sample, like a small.
Look, I just randomly opened the book and look what I see. Look, he's even got a picture in there.
I love it.
Wow. Yeah. So you don't have the version with pictures, I don't think. You don't have the version with the graphics. And then why I love the these at the end of every section is like section highlights. And basically what we did was everything that you guys highlighted in the advanced group, whatever was highlighted the most, we put it into section highlights at the end. But apart from that, yeah, not a ton of. I was smarter on the second round on the book instead of the first one, where I just wrote like crazy.
I'm flipping through Nelson Mandela's top 10 rules to success, and I've crossed a bunch of them.
Wow! Wow!
I wrote weak on one of them.
Wow! Wow! Nelson Mandela's rules are weak, according to Mark Dreiger. Wow! All right. Well, next question. Next question. Okay. Suchith. Hope I pronounced that okay. How to stay motivated when we get hit with failures.
Yeah, this is really tough. I didn't sleep very much last night because we've been actually working through a few challenges here at my company. But here's the thing. You're not going to be motivated all the time, and you can't avoid failure. Right? There's going to be big losses, and there's going to be little losses. There's going to be days where you're on fire, and there's going to be days where you question and doubt. But when you face a failure of any kind, big or little, the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to question, do I have what it takes? Can I do this? You're going to start to doubt. You're going to start to run into fears. Your confidence is going to go out the window. Your perspective is going to go out the window. Your belief in yourself is going to go out the window. And so I think the better thing to ask yourself isn't how to stay motivated when you're facing a failure. It's what's next? What's next? Failures are going to happen. And rather than question, am I good or not good, or maybe I'm an idiot, or do I have what it takes, or why did I think this is a good idea? Like, just what is the next step I need to take to get back on the path to wanting to achieve my goal, the goal that I have, the big thing that I'm doing, the purpose, the reason why I'm serving, the reason why I'm driving value, the reason why I'm building a business, whatever it is. Great, I had this setback. What do I need to do now to get back on the path? And the great thing about the failure is it's usually super painful or embarrassing, but it provides you so much clarity, right? Like if you're able to reflect on what you did or didn't do and how it led there, you're going to learn some things, and you're going to be able to roll that in. So now on version 2 or version 5 or version 10 of whatever it is you're doing, you're just that much smarter and better off.
Yeah, I think you have to. It forces the gut check of like, why am I doing this? And you better have a good answer for it. And when Mark and I were talking about some of these things. Think about retirement. Like, what are you going to do when you retire, right? So, Mark's retirement is buying a farm and running naked with chickens outside. It's like, great. He wants to have 1,000 acres or whatever it is. And like, that's
I do want to have 1,000
great.
acres. I want to own both sides of the river. That's my dream.
Okay. He wants to own both sides of the river, raise I'm not joking. Raise chickens so he can run around naked outside in the backyard, right? Awesome. I might have embellished that last part, but still. But you said that. I didn't come up with that. You said that, I think, on the podcast.
No, I said I want to have so much land that if I wanted
that you could
to walk
run around naked,
that if I wanted to walk around naked, I could, because I wouldn't even see anyone. That's different than me wanting to run around naked with a bunch of chickens.
That really means you want to. That is your dream. But great. So fast forward, like imagine that's happening right now. Great. Are you happy? Maybe for a week because you kind of forget about your problems, but then, okay, well, what do you want to do? Well, I still want to. Right? So like you still want to do things. So what do you ultimately, if you get out of this failure, you forget about your life, you're lying on some beach in Maui or whatever you think retirement looks like. Awesome. Now what do you want to do? Because you're going to get sick of that, because you want to bring value, because you want to do something, because you want to feel like the work you do has some kind of meaning. So what is that? Reconnect back to that. And then you could take the next step. Because you get lost and you caught up and like, oh my gosh, this thing didn't work out, or I lost that client, or my channel got hacked or whatever. Okay. The bigger perspective, like, what do you want? I spent some time last night just thinking about that too. Like, well, what do you want? What do you want? And that, when you're in the, Mark's Wi-Fi is gone and he's frozen on like this, can't see his eyes properly. It's amazing. I love it. I don't know if you can hear us or not, but I'm still going.
I can hear you perfectly, but
okay.
You're spinning. You're spinning right now.
It's definitely your side.
I'm back. Hey.
There we go. He's back. Like, well, what do you want? 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 And that's what you need to get to. Like, what do you want? You've had these failures. Awesome. Okay, great. You're probably not thinking clearly right now. So what do you want? And when you can get that perspective back, then you go to, okay, I still want that, right? I still want that thing. Great. Now what's my next step? But without the perspective of what do you want? And that can be a difficult question to answer. Like maybe you don't know right now. Maybe you're so deep in that you can't process that properly. But that's where you need to, you sleep on it, you go for a walk in nature, do the Japanese forest bathing, like whatever you need to do to get that perspective so that you get an answer. Like, what do you want to be doing right now? And then that clears the path to what your next step should be. Like that? Japanese forest bathing?
I did like that.
All right. Prashan wants to know, what are Mark's vision and goals? All right, Mark, over to you.
My vision. Well, I own a marketing agency called Phantom Media. And really what my vision is I want to be able to help any entrepreneur overcome any problem. Now that's pretty massive and that's pretty big. What we're doing right now is we're just trying to help businesses scale and grow in predictable ways. Marketing is so unpredictable. It's a lot of people spend money and never earn it back, right, Evan? It's just like it's very easy to get tricked by people into hoping something will work, or spending money on stuff that just doesn't actually even work, like through data. And so, really, I mean, there's a few things, but I want to be able to help any entrepreneur overcome any problem. I want to make marketing predictable, and we want to help scale and grow businesses. That's on the Fanta side, the business that I own, that I've been running for the last 14 years. My goal,
14 years.
Started in 2006.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
You and I have known each other a very long time. We've known each other.
Really? I say a decade,
13
but
years.
I guess it's
13
longer.
years.
Okay, I think it's longer.
It's been a long time. 2007 we met. In terms of goals, I'm probably not like I have goals, but my goals are like, what are the next steps, or like super far away. And so the next steps for me, we've had this little thing, COVID, right? We've had business disruptions. I don't want to get too technical with business, but 70% of our revenue kind of disappeared when COVID hit. And so my main goal is to ensure that my business can help shift to the other 30% of services that we can still offer right now. So can we be sustainable? Can we have the right team? Can we have the right processes? Can we grow and scale? Can we reclaim what we had even just last year at this time? My goal is to get through the next year stronger than I am now.
There you go. They don't want to know my vision and goals, so I'm not answering that question. Okay. What else? ER equals Erasmo in the house. Hello, guys. Double exclamation point. How do you motivate others?
How do you motivate others? I'm going to steal something from who's the master of leadership? Would that be Jim Rohn or
John Maxwell?
John Maxwell, right? That leadership and motivation all comes down to influence. So I think if you can really understand who someone is, and Evan is so good at this, understand who someone is and what they're about. Evan says wear their skin, right? Like if you can really come to understand who they are, what they're about, what they want, and where they want to go, and that aligns with the things that you want, then you can have influence over them. You can jazz them up. You can paint a picture of the future. You're squinting right now, and I can't tell if you're frozen or if you just really hate my response.
You were with me until the if it aligns with what you want.
Yeah. So how to motivate others? Like you can
motivate Erasmo to do something that you have no interest in.
Oh, that I could do. That I can excite. But I guess I read this in the context of the reason I went to leadership is I read this in the context of like, hey, I have a group of people that I really need to motivate because I want them to do something for me. Well, if that's the case, then you can't come at it like, what are you going to do for me? You have to ensure that their path, their growth aligns with what you want. Otherwise, it's going to be very, very short term. And so understanding who they are, where they want to go and what they want to do, and then getting them really excited about that. I mean, that's the easiest way in my mind.
Yeah, so I'll two-step that. So I think leadership ultimately is wanting people to win more than you want them to win with you. where if they're on your team, it's because they're better humans for being on your team, and you're going to continue to guide and lead and mentor them. And it's actually the best thing for them as a human being to still be with you. And the second you start to doubt whether this person not does a good job, like I've had to kick people out of my company who are doing a great job because being here is not actually what they should be doing. Like, you need to go be a baker, and I can't give you that. So go, right? Like, so it starts with, I want this person to win more than I want them to win with me. And when you can remove that pressure, that if you're only thinking selfishly, like, how does this fit into my business? I think you end up losing because it's just too inward focused instead of actually helping them. And every time I've helped somebody, even if it has nothing to do with my business, maybe not every time, but a lot of times, like, it comes back to help me, because you're putting people in positions to win, and they remember it in a month, in 3 months, in 6 months, in 8 years, whatever. So remove the you. That's why I was squinting so hard. I was like, oh, I don't like that part. Mark was doing like a John Maxwell, Evan Carmichael love child, but I didn't like that little, I don't know who the third person in that equation is that I wasn't a fan of. So that's a starting point. And then to actually motivate them, it's, yes, part one is wearing their skin to deeply understand, to our last question, what do you want? Like, what do you actually want? And not in a judgmental way, and not in a way like, oh, how does it fit into my business? But like, as a human, what do you want? If Mark wants to go, like I was legit thinking, how do I get Mark to have 1,000 acres so we can be naked with chickens running? Like, that's not what I want.
This is a conversation we had last night. But I'm legit like, hey, Mark, what do you want? You want that? Like, that can happen. I saw you problem solving it, and I had to stop you, and I just say, no, dude, stop. Like, don't. We're not doing this right now. Stop.
Well, because that can happen. Like, that can happen right now. You can make that happen. Maybe not like in the moment right now, but inside of the next 6 to 8 months, you could be there. That is possible. And if that's actually your dream, I want you to make that happen, and I want to be a part of that dream happening. Even though, like, I have no interest in ever visiting you naked on your chicken farm, like, no interest. But so, like, what do you want, right? Helping people, hold the space for them to be able to dream, and to be able to maybe share something that they haven't shared with anybody else because they think that it's too crazy a dream or too big a thing, and everybody else judges them. You're the one who's actually saying, okay, naked with chickens on a farm, let's make that happen, right? Like, most people would say you are, a little crazy. So holding the space, right? Like, understanding what do you actually want. And then it's giving them the belief that it's actually possible. Your belief in them gives them the motivation and confidence to go forward because they don't believe in themselves. So that's ultimately, I think, how you get them the motivation. Like, if Mark actually wanted to do the chicken thing, we could do it. Like, I believe it. And it's going to happen, right? Like, we could full force go and make that happen where he may not, I'm, again, just using Mark as an example, but where he may not see the path and it's just some dream. Like, no, that can do it. You can do that. Like, that can happen in 6 to 8 months. And nobody else is talking to these people around you that you want to motivate like that. Nobody else is, one, even just holding the space to help them be able to dream and share, and then to say, yeah, you could do that. Let's find a way to do that. Even if you can't practically give them the next step because you've never done it. I don't know anything about chickens, but you could give them the belief that it's possible.
You've really held on to this analogy.
Because it's such a great example. It's such a crazy, like, most people's crazy dream isn't that crazy. It's not about having to farm naked chickens, right? So
mine isn't either. I just want to get that out there. That's not my dream.
Go back and listen to episode 42 of the Something to Prove podcast, and you will hear Mark explicitly say that. Anyway, so yes, that's what, first you want them to win more than you want them with you. Second, you hold the space to actually figure out and help them understand what do they want. And you can't plant the seed. Like, I may want Mark to do this, but if he doesn't want to do that, right? So we got to a point last time. It's like, well, I can't tell you. Like, the what do you want question, I can't tell you what to do. When I know what you should do, I will gladly tell you. I will be opinionated and push you to do the thing that's in your best interest. But what do you want is not a question that I can answer. Like, that's a self question that you have to get them to answer. And then once you get that answer, it's the belief in them and the push in them to make sure that that actually starts to happen. That was a nice fire clip there,
That was
Dreiger.
good.
That was good. Hey, we like that.
Joshua.
That was great. Okay, what else? Erasmo saying, I'll donate some chickens. Let's go.
Let's go.
Like, this is it, dude. This is how you're doing it, right? Most people would listen to that and say, Dreiger's a cuckoo bird.
Well, hold on.
And you're saying,
are they hens and what breed? That's what I'm curious about.
you're Erasmo, you're doing it. Like, this is how you motivate people, right? You're holding the space for Dreiger's crazy dream, and then you're saying, hey, I want to help. Where everybody else is thinking he's crazy. Good. I like that. That was a great follow-up. Okay. Ratik saying, how do I stop looking down on myself?
So I think, listen, it's one of those things where you can do something really, really well and you can just be crushing it. And all these people can be telling you you're doing an awesome job, but one hater comes along and leaves a bad comment. And all you can think about is that hater. Like, you forget all the good things. You forget all the progress. You forget everything you learned. You're just like, oh, that person hates me. And it really bothers you and brings you down. That happens in your own head. And so you have to be very careful. I have to be very careful about the music I listen to, about the podcasts that I listen to, and the people that I let speak into my life. I've been celebrating because he told me to cut down on my podcast listening. But also the things that I say to myself.
Well, not quite, but okay, keep going.
Yeah, also the things that I say to myself. Because it is very easy for me. It's super easy for me to quickly flip back through the Rolodex of my memories in my mind and pull out all the times that I made like big, giant, stupid mistakes. And then that's very easy for me to say, I made all those mistakes. I must be an idiot. I must be the type of person who makes all these mistakes. And if I'm living in that world, which is the first half of it, it's very hard to break out of it. So watch what you say to yourself and what you think and what you listen. The second thing that I think you need to do is set yourself some type of challenge that you can do today that you will feel good for completing. Go for an hour walk. Go for a 10-minute run. Call someone. Do something that's a little bit outside of your comfort zone. Start something. Because the feeling of the progress and the feeling of taking some action and the feeling of achieving something, no matter how small it is, will teach you today that you're the type of person who can move forward, and those things will stack upon itself. So watch what you listen to and watch what you tell yourself, and then make sure that you're doing something big or small every day. And I learned this during COVID. I wasn't going to the gym, and when I went back, I was like, I didn't realize how much I used going to the gym to prove to myself the type of person that I am. And I didn't realize that it had slipped away. So this morning, wasn't feeling good, got no sleep, went to the gym, crushed it. And now I feel amazing. So that wouldn't happen if I was like, well, I only got 4 hours sleep and I'm not really feeling well. My stomach's hurting, I'm nauseous and I'm worried and I'm anxiety and all this. Like, do something small today that challenges you so you feel good about yourself.
For me, I look at this as the kick down versus the kick forward, where you want to try to teach yourself not to kick yourself down and feel like a piece of garbage, but kick yourself forward into the next opportunity. And why I say it like that is because I think you actually need the kick. Like, I think you're probably looking down on yourself because you're comparing yourself to somebody else, because this person went off and accomplished this and they were 3 years younger than you and look what they did. And now you suck and you can't, and this is in my own head too, right? Like, it's in everybody's head. Right? Why can't I sell as many books as this guy? Why can't I sell as many courses as this person? Why am I not at 10 million subscribers yet? And all this stuff, right? When you see somebody else having more success. I think that's actually a good thing. Like, I think the comparison is actually a good thing because it can kick you. Because otherwise, you stay being the big fish in the small pond. You stay lazy, complacent, without much of that push forward. But the key is to use it as a push forward. The key is to look at somebody who's done something amazing and say, that's what's possible, instead of, I suck. So you're flipping it. Because I think without the kick, you don't do anything. So it's actually a gift. The thing that caused you to look down on yourself is actually a gift. You just have to use it in the positive direction to kick forward instead of kicking yourself down. Want to do one more? I know we're kind of tight on the time. Let's do one more.
Let's do it. I'm having
one
fun.
more. All right. Tom in the house says what to do Man, Tom's background, his icon is giving me like it's
trippy.
It's taking me on a trip. Yeah, Tom, that's a trippy.
Somebody screen capture that.
I can't watch Tom. I can't watch Tom. Okay, I'm blocking it.
Shark 28. What do you do when you're getting bored during the process? What do you do when you're getting bored during the process? Well, I mean, I don't know. It's really tough because I think the conventional wisdom is that you have to love the process and not be so tied to the outcome. But there's tons of times where things are boring. So I like to change things up. But then the other wisdom is that, what are you doing, Evan?
I'm really trying to see what is in Tom's picture. It's such a trip. It's like,
is it
pink background with the black?
Is it a bunch of hands coming together and high five?
I don't know. No, I think it's a person.
Oh,
I think it's a person just kind of zoomed out, but the feels like it feels like the more I look at it, the more I feel like it's moving. I really feel like the circle is moving. It's anyway.
Not. It's not. That's you.
Tom that's a trip, Tom. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
I don't know if I have a good answer for this because when I get bored of the process, I look for something to get excited about and I change things up. And I don't know if that's always actually the best thing to do because I tend to be very patient. So if I'm bored of the process, I've been bored for like a long time before I do anything. I don't want to give you that advice because some people get bored of the process and they're only 3 weeks in. And it's like, dude, this is going to take 2 or 3 years. Like what do you expect and what do you want? So I'm very hesitant to say, change things up, spice things up. I would say if you're bored, other people are bored too. I mean, but I don't want to tell you to change things up too proactively because then people end up changing every 6 or 9 months and they never get anywhere. Sometimes you have to just push through to get what you want. You have to do, like working out every day, it's not fun. Dieting every day, it's not fun. Showing up to work every day isn't always fun. Sometimes you just have to push through. Evan hates that advice.
Well, because it led to a lot of results thinking, right? Like, well, it's just going to take 2 to 3 years or whatever. That's not enjoying the process. That's results thinking. That's what am I going to get in X amount of time? Like, what's the result of my 2 to 3 years? And so, yeah, there's some people who say, like, I'll do whatever it takes to get there. That's not enjoying the process. So that's all. It's like you're tying it. You're not.
No, I know. What I'm saying is I've heard other people give advice, and I can give you what Tom Bilyeu says, or I can give you what other people say, or what Evan says. I don't have advice because my advice is like, hard work is hard. You know, I say that to my kids when they're like, oh, you know, oh, it's like, no, sometimes hard work is hard. Sometimes you do things you don't have to do. Sometimes you don't like what you're doing. Like everybody's busy chasing happiness all day, every day. We all know life doesn't work that way. Sometimes you just have to work hard and do boring things. I don't like that advice. I don't know if that is even the right advice, but that's the way that I operate a lot of the time.
Yeah, for me, if this is an ongoing thing versus a one-off, really important to pay attention to. If it's a one-off, like Mark was tired last night and didn't sleep much, and you know, maybe he didn't get to the gym, maybe he's having a bad day, and he's still got to do whatever he's got to do today, client calls or work or whatever. You can write that off as, okay, it's extra hard. I didn't sleep. I'm gonna plow through this. I do difficult things. Let's go. If that's every day, like if every day he's showing up like, oh my God, I'm so bored here at the office. Oh my God, why did I come in? I don't want to be here. Then you have to move. You have to switch. And either you spice it up inside what you're doing or you go do something totally different because you're never going to win. If you're bored doing what you're doing and that's the majority of your day, like you're never going to win. So I've been making YouTube videos for 11 years.
I've sat in on some of your videos. I've done some of your videos, and the thought of doing that every single week for 11 years, it sounds boring to me. But you love it. You feed off of it, right? But
this is it. Like 6,000, 7,000, 8,000. I don't know how many videos I've done. Bonkers numbers of videos.
Bananas, some might say.
Bananas. Mark likes bananas. 4 seasons now of the Something to Prove podcast. Instagram Live every day, you know, during the week at 2, as long as I'm not traveling. It doesn't feel like work, but it's always if I get a little bit bored with it, I look to spice it up. So it's the YouTube format's not exactly the same. 2 nights ago, I was up till 4:30 with YouTube ideas, right? It's like, ooh, what if I change my intro to do this? Like, I wonder how they would do. And like, my mind is racing. I can't sleep because I'm thinking about strategies for my YouTube channel. 11 years in, like, it still drives me. But if I just kept doing the same thing over and over and over again, then I get bored too. So that's a little tweak. You might get to some things, and this will happen too, where you have to leave it. Where it's just no amount of tweaking will save this. You've just grown, or it was the wrong thing in the first place, and you're just not into it anymore, and you need to move on. And that's totally fine. I think a lot of people stick with something for way too long and end up hating their life. And the key is, while you still have one foot in, while you're like, you don't absolutely hate it, it's just okay, that's how you have to find a transition. For entrepreneurs, it's usually like, can I sell my business? Until, like, when you absolutely hate your business, it's really hard to sell it. When you realize you just bought yourself a job, it's really hard to sell it. When you still got one foot in, that's the time to try to sell it, and then go find something else that you're going to love. So it's just thinking, can I make some tweaks and minor adjustments and changes, and constantly inject more spice into it? If yes, awesome, because you'll have to keep doing that for life. And if no, then move on, because you're not going to win. Like, if you go to work every day bored, if I show up bored to the Something Poo podcast, it's over that day. Like, done.
You wouldn't even show up. If you see the notification come up, ping, and you go,
yeah,
it's done.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even record the episode. You'd be like, Mark, it's over.
Yeah. Like, if going into this, I see it on my calendar, and I knew Mark had a bit of a rough night, so I messaged him, hey, are we still on for 2:00? And he said yes. But if I look at that, like, ooh, I don't know, it's going to be boring. Dude, Mark, we're done.
We're done.
Podcast is done. Something else, right? Yeah, and I think that's great, because people stick on things too long, and that's how you end up hating your life, and you look back and it's like, it's been 5 years of the exact same thing with no variety.
Hey, Evan, can I hijack this real quick? Joe, I see you're in the chat. Thank you for your address. We'll get you this brand new. Not even. I told him I'd have to give him a used one. That was
right?
all sweaty and
Are
gross.
you not going to wear it? Game worn is, you put it on for like a second. It's game worn. No, put it actually on. This is a game worn Mark Dreiger hat. Wow. It just went up by 1,000 times the value.
So should I actually send him the sweaty one then? He said he wanted it signed. Should I send him the dirty sweaty one?
No, send him that one. That's game worn. You wore it. There you go. You wore it. Sign it. That's the official one. He's got video proof. You should sign it. Sign it now. Take out the phone.
I don't have a Sharpie, but I will.
Dude,
sign
there's
it.
a Sharpie. No, this is video. Like, he's gonna have this video for his entire life. Sign it. Go get a Sharpie. You're in an office. There's a Sharpie somewhere there.
There might be. Okay, here we go. This is what Evan likes to do.
Look. It's all caps. Yes, Dreiger merch with like 8 exclamation points. Oh, we gotta go quiet. Okay, hush.
Sorry,
Okay.
conference call.
Conference call. I'm being too noisy. Okay. This is it. Listen,
Sharpie?
this is the second person now in your life who's asked you for an autograph. This is great.
This is fantastic. Is it? Does a whiteboard marker work? No, it's got to be a Sharpie, right?
I don't know.
Oh, I found one.
There we go.
There we go.
And he's worn this for a good minute now. This is legit game worn now. Not just like,
what you guys don't realize is I'm such a sweaty guy that, like, I've already sweat through it. Okay.
game worn. That's
right here?
special. It's not nasty, but it's game worn. There you go.
Right
Okay.
here, right?
Yeah. Sign it. Sign it on the line. Love it. Mark is going to blow up. Yeah, this is going to be worth something. And now he's got the video to prove it. Look at that. What does it say? Oh, hashtag is extraordinary.
My signature.
Yeah, it's backwards in the camera. Okay.
Oh, is it? There we go.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. No, don't wear it anymore. Now it's good. Now you
Oh,
ship
now I
that
don't
off.
have to wear it?
Yeah. He says awesome. Yes. 4 exclamation points.
There we go.
Game worn. What a memory. What a memory, Joe. What a memory.
Make sure you download this.
Download this video and save it. That's a keeper. When you're gonna auction that, when you auction that hat off for $14 million. Oh, Mark's all frozen. For $14 million, this is gonna be your proof to show Sotheby's that it's legit.
Right there. Signed.
All right. We're way over, but that was worth it.
That was fun.
people who want to, Mark, take us out. What's our
Take
ending?
us out. If you want to listen to the Something to Prove podcast or find out a little bit more about Evan and I, go ahead and Google Something to Prove podcast. You can find us on Stitcher or Google Podcast or Apple Podcast or anything else you want. Just Something to Prove podcast.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend.